It's an absolute backbreaker in Foxborough this afternoon. Welcome into Patriots Today by Chat Sports. I am not Allie Barefoot. My name is Jack Lautaret. Allie is away at a family wedding this weekend, so I am covering today's 28-22 loss to the Los Angeles Rams. But before we get into any of that, I want to give a shout out to Allie and the Barefoot family because, like I said, she is away at a family wedding. Her brother is getting married. So I want to show some love to Allie, her brother, and the Barefoot family. Everyone spam congrats in the comment section down below. I want Allie to take a look at these analytics and see 1,000 congrats for her family, for her brother. I want them to feel the love. Go down below and type congrats in the comments. And again, show them love. Don't worry, Allie is going to be back within the next few days. But type congrats. All right, let's get into it. I'm frustrated. If you guys don't know who I am a Patriots fan. And this was a very frustrating loss. I feel like in the first quarter, you had all of the momentum. The Rams did really nothing offensively. Then you get into the second quarter and some blunders start to ensue. There is a turnover. There are numerous penalties. And the Rams offense starts doing what we expect it to do. I don't blame this game. I want to make this abundantly clear before we go any further. I don't blame this game on Drake Maye whatsoever. If you look at those stats, and we'll talk more about the quarterbacks here in a minute, but if you look at these stats, that's not a bad game. It's not. There is a lot of internal issues that I have. The offensive line, the defensive play calling, Alex Van Pelt's play calling at times. There is a lot to break down here, but overall stats. Matthew Stafford has a good game, throws 4 touchdowns. Kyren Williams does what he does. He had a lot of key first downs when they needed them. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, we will talk about the receivers. They both absolutely cooked the New England secondary. Drake Maye, like I already said, had a good game. Rhamondre Stevenson was okay. He did have a fumble that he was able to jump on and recover. So those fumble holding on to the ball issues are still kind of there, but he had an okay game. Kendrick Bourne had, I thought, a really good game. I think that the wide receivers and tight ends as a whole had a really impressive game for New England. We're going to hop into all of that here in just a second. But first, I want to focus solely on the quarterback. Drake Maye had a good game. He had a good game. And everyone's going to look at the scoreboard. They're going to look at the turnovers, and they're going to say, but Jack, 2 turnovers and the loss and blah, blah, blah. But look at, I know we don't like to box score hunt. And I know that there is more that goes into whether or not a quarterback has a good game or not. But just looking here at these stats, 30 for 40, 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception to end the game. This is a good stat line from a rookie quarterback who's on his 6th start in the NFL. This is a good stat line. He looked like a pro. All the drives that he had his third quarter in particular, I thought was masterful. He was electric in the third quarter, and he continued that into the fourth quarter as well. This is not a Drake Maye issue. I want to make that abundantly clear. Drake Maye slung the ball today. He was absolutely, in my opinion, fantastic. Where the turnovers come in, because this was not the only turnover Drake Maye had. Drake Maye also fumbled earlier in the first half as well. I mean, these turnovers, are they bad? Yes. But this offensive line's horrible. This offensive line's absolutely horrible. And they didn't really make any significant changes at the trade deadline. And I'm at a loss for words. I don't know. This offensive line is incompetent at times. On the fumble, they only sent 4 people, and they were able to garner heavy pressure, to which Drake Maye gets absolutely lit up by, I believe it was Braden Fisk, and he fumbles. The offensive line is not cutting it. And we know this. We've seen this all season long. The offensive line is simply not cutting it. But today, it showed because you had an opportunity to win this game numerous times. Those 2 turnovers are costly. The interception at the end of the game, Drake Maye, was heavily pressured. He had to get the ball out or he was going to take a costly sack that he could not take on 3rd down. I don't know what to tell you. The offensive line just isn't cutting it. They aren't. And I don't, as long as that is the offensive line, I don't feel confident in winning many games as a Patriot fan. I don't. But it is what it is. We got to regroup, reconnect, refigure out what the problems are, fix them, and get ready for next week. And we will be here next week live. Don't miss out. If you have not already hit that sub button, Allie's going to be back tomorrow giving you all the latest news and rumors. I'm just to fill in while she was, like I said, off at her brother's wedding. Allie's going to be here giving you daily coverage on the Patriots. Talk about injuries. Talk about personnel changes. Talk about all of that. She will be here. Daily news, daily rumors, daily videos, short form content, and then live every Sunday, Monday, Thursday. Whenever the Patriots play, she will be live as well. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button. The next goal is 19,000 subscribers. Can we get there? I think so. But help us out. Hit that sub button. We would really appreciate it. Rhamondre Stevenson was fine. 20 carries, 73 yards, a long of 12. He didn't do anything stellar. He did fumble. He, like I said earlier, he did fall on the fumble, so he was able to recover it, but the ball security is still an issue with him. He needs to pick it up, and if he doesn't, there's going to be issues. The rest of the running game wasn't that impressive, but what really was impressive to me, in my opinion, was the receiving game. The receivers showed up today. They just cut Tyquan Thornton yesterday. So they went from 7 receivers in a rotation that didn't make a lot of sense and a lot of cooks in the kitchen to now a more manageable 6 receivers. And most of the key pass catchers on the Patriots got their fill today. Kendrick Bourne, 70 yards a tud. Hunter Henry was conversion city. Every time you needed a clutch first down, he was there. DeMario Douglas, all over the field, had a great day. This is just scratching the surface at how dynamic this offense can be. With Drake Maye at the helm, this offense looks competent. I don't see a elite wide receiver 1 or tight end 1 on here. But that doesn't matter. Tom Brady, and I'm not comparing Drake Maye to Tom Brady, but the example I'm using here, Tom Brady was able to make the most out of what he had, and he didn't always have the best talent. Drake Maye does not always have the best talent. These are good players, but they're not elite. And Drake Maye is able to bring the best out of them. This offense looks competent when Drake Maye has time. This all harkens back to my conversation about the offensive line. If you don't give him time, if he's constantly under pressure, he's not going to be able to stay competent. I also do want to give a shout out real quick to Alex Van Pelt. I can't believe I'm saying that. I thought overall, as a whole, he called a very competent game. He did. I thought he called a competent game. I thought his first quarter play calling in particular was awesome. I thought the first quarter they were firing on cylinders. They were fast. They were moving the ball. They looked great. Second quarter, I had some issues. Why are you running Rhamondre Stevenson on 3rd and goal at like the 2-yard line? Everyone in the stadium knew what was being run on that play. You need to switch it up sometimes. But then you get to the 3rd quarter, second half, I don't remember exactly when it happened, you pull out the trickery with Verdarian Lowe getting a big boy touchdown. Alex Van Pelt shines sometimes, but then there's very questionable play calls that leave you scratching your head. So I'm going to give overall shout out to Alex Van Pelt. I don't think this was the best game he's ever called, but in general, I'm going to give him at least a little bit of love because I did like his play calling for the most part. All right. Let's move on to the defense. This one's tough. This is tough because I thought the defense was playing excellent to start the game. The first quarter was one of probably the best quarters of Patriots football I've seen all year. The offense was running on all cylinders. The defense was absolutely handling the Rams, the Rams passing game. But then you got into the second quarter and beyond, and they just completely crumble. Matthew Stafford has a great game. 18 for 27, 295 yards, 4 touchdowns. At one point, he had thrown 4 touchdowns in his last 9 completions. Like, that can't happen. You know, like the play calling on the defense today was poor. You're calling soft zones when Kupp and Puka are running short crossers or short curls up the middle. Like, make an adjustment. You know, Drake Maye, this was one of Ali's keys to victory going into this week. Drake Maye had to make adjustments, and he just didn't. Like, they were running those soft zones in the first quarter, and it worked when they were trying to go, like, take the top off the defense. It worked then. But once they start running crossing routes and quick passing routes and different concepts, that doesn't work anymore. You have to make an adjustment. They started to make an adjustment in the fourth quarter, and it started to work. But at that point, it was too little too late. You were already on your back foot. So I didn't think that was executed at all. I didn't like the play calling. And your secondary is an issue. That's an issue. That can't happen. Like, you have 2 elite wide receivers here in Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. Yes. This was always going to be an issue. It was always going to be an issue having these 2 elites, because it's like, okay, you can only put Christian Gonzalez on one of them, and then you're going to kind of have to figure it out with the other. But you cannot let them both go for more than 100 yards. Cooper Kupp has 2 tuds. Puka Nacua has a touchdown as well. You cannot allow that to happen. It's just atrocious to watch. No adjustments. Getting absolutely cooked in the secondary. Your biggest flaws as a roster were shown today. Your offensive line could not keep up for Drake Maye. The rest of the offense looked good. But your offensive line, which is the most important part of the offense other than the quarterback, did not hold up. Your offensive play calling, which is another weakness, was at times atrocious. Again, credit where credit's due, but still, there were issues. You had a secondary that was getting burnt and leaving receivers wide open. I was shocked at the amount of times that these receivers were left wide open. I'm like, how does that happen? How does that happen? It's bad defensive play call. And then don't even get me started on the penalties. The penalties were absolutely atrocious in this game. And while I will say I do think it was a fair game called both ways, the Patriots actually got bailed out quite a few times. But it just can't happen. It just can't happen. So there you have it. The Patriots lose an absolute heartbreaker. Drake Maye had an opportunity to have a signature moment at the end of the game, and he threw a pick. I can't fully blame it on him. He had 2 guys in his face. He had to get the ball out, but it just can't happen. It's just unfortunate. A lot of dumb mistakes, a lot of things that they're going to have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what went wrong. It's disappointing. I, as a Patriots fan, am very disappointed, and I hope that next week they are ready to go and ready to ball out. Grade the Patriots today versus the Rams. A, B, C, D, or F. We talked about this at halftime in our watch party today. I gave them a C. I think I'm going to stick with a C. There's a lot of stuff that I think worked really well, especially Drake Maye and a lot of the skill positions. And the defense, for a time, looked good. But there was just too many inexcusable mistakes and penalties that happened throughout this game that I can't really grade it more than a C. I think it was a mediocre, middle-of-the-road performance from the Patriots, and I expect more out of them in the future. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. We're going to get on out of here. Allie's going to be back tomorrow with more coverage. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for allowing me to take over for this past week's watch party. It was a lot of fun. Thank you all so much. Make sure you grade the Patriots against the Rams. Make sure you hit that sub button, and go Pats.